Welcome back to 5 Minutes With on HDTV. I'm Steve Strum. This morning, Brady and I have an opportunity to sit down and chat with Chris Huebener from Brightway Insurance. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right, the jacket. That thing is great.
You know,
clearly you are branded and logoed.
Absolutely. I was super excited to put it on. I don't wear it often enough, so I'm really grateful I had the opportunity today.
And it's fabulous. So tell us a little bit about your agency.
Yes, sir. So we are a full-service property and casualty insurance agency out in Ponte Vedra Beach is where we're located. Basically, homeowners, auto, flood, life, anything to do with insurance is something that we can actually take a look at and help customers with.
So when we were talking a little bit offset, part of what we were actually talking about in some previous interviews is the rapidly changing environment of the insurance land, or just in the economic scale, but then some of the things that you're dealing with. Tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that's out there.
Absolutely. The biggest challenges that we're running into these days is price, right? Is everyone's rates are going up, and why? We could talk hours over this exact subject, but in the brief time, it's excessive litigation and fraudulent claims. That's the biggest thing that's been going on in the world. You know, our Governor DeSantis, he's a bit of a juggernaut, and he had an agenda, and he made some changes to some laws just recently in the last week, and then actually in December as well, which is actually going to help our industry overall. So in the short time frame, we're not going to see much change, but in the next 12 months, it absolutely should start going down from an availability and really a cost perspective to all of us in Florida.
So a lot of my out-of-town people, they always, with the hurricanes and everything, that's one thing they're always concerned about is, oh, what's insurance in Florida? It's so different than where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
What, as far as like from state to state, is there something unique about Florida? Obviously, it's got the hurricanes and stuff, but as far as just the industry overall, what are some things out-of-town people might need to know if they're coming to Florida?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question because I get that all the time from transplants, really. And there's really not a lot of difference from a covered perspective, right? So someone coming from California has earthquakes that they deal with. We don't really have that. So there's things that really just, we are not unique. It's just the cost of it. Obviously, there's so many miles of coast, so we have a lot of exposure to the storms. Hurricanes are our biggest issue. But every policy in Florida has the opportunity to have hurricane coverage, and I would say 99% of them all do because people want to protect that. That's the biggest unknown thing. And really, from a cost perspective of that, a newer home is built to latest building codes. So from a cost, it's the lowest cost part there. An older home is out of code, right? Codes have gotten stronger and better every storm and every year. So that's where they kind of see it. But the best thing to do is just get a quote. Let's see, what does this house look like? How far is it from the ocean? How old is the roof? How old is the water heater? There's all these different factors that go into the algorithm of, okay, I'm willing to insure and give you money for this house.
So it's not just about price.
Correct.
It's not just like, hey, price quote, website, click, 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 here you go, this is the number. You guys put a lot of thought in it. I know professionally you deal a lot with real estate as well, and you probably have the top 3 questions that your customers have on tap.
Well, and I'll vouch for Chris. He's worked with a lot of my clients and does a great job informing and then providing great rates. Another question that is just a common one that I always get is about roofs. That's a big topic as well. What can you tell us about insuring a roof that people need to know when they go to buy a house?
Absolutely. The newer the roof, the better, right? Like that's going to be the easiest answer. But the reality is the way the policy has to be written. And this all happened back in some legislative changes back in the mid-2000s that say the roof has to be insured at a certain replacement cost value. So every policy has to have it. And there's a gray area of a 12-year-old roof. Does it have damage? Does it not have damage? Is it just a normal windstorm? Is the shingle there? So there's so many questions to it. But it's not all doom and gloom. There is answers. There is insurance for every property out there. The cost may be more the older the roof, by all means. But it is definitely insurable. It just comes down to the condition, which is why, as we always talk, do you have an inspection? What does a professional inspector say this roof looks like, or a professional roofer say? And then we can go to the insurance company and say, hey, these guys vouch for this. Let's see what the price is.
Let's say I take a buyer to a house and the roof appears good. Everything appears good, but it's 20 years old. What do you say to someone? Hey, it's in good condition, but it's 20 years old. Are they going to be replacing that within a couple of years? Or if the inspector says it looks good? I mean, what are your thoughts on that situation?
If the inspector signs off on it, and that's what we call this 4-point inspection, right? We always talk about the 4 main parts of the house: the roof, the AC, the electrical, and the plumbing. if that's signed off and says this is great and it's got 5 years of life left, 7 years of life, or whatever that inspector is or says, then yeah, we have some options with it. Not every company wants to take that on, but there are a handful that will explore that option, or if the buyer's okay with it, just not cover the roof. There's options to say, hey, I understand I'm going to need a new roof. Let's exclude it from the insurance, and I'll take on that cost and risk if something does happen, but I want to insure the rest of my house. I want to insure water damage or for fire or whatever it is. So there are definitely options for sure.
Yeah, well, we could go forever on this.
I was going to say, it's
I
hours.
have a list of questions. So if, really appreciate you coming and checking us out.
Yes,
thanks so much for stopping by today and kind of walking us through this insurance land and dynamics and some of the things that have changed. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And guys, if you want to learn more about Chris and Brightway Insurance, go check him out on iwannabuzz.com. Thanks again for joining us today on 5 Minutes With. If you like us, share us. Remember, live with gratitude.